Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Beyond Crystal Code. It's February 25th, 2026, and I am here with the one and only Carla from Ascension Organized. Girl, how are you doing, sister?
Hello, Coco. I'm great. How's everyone else doing?
Tell us, guys, if you do see us on Rumble, because I have a comment here that Rumble seems not working. So keep us posted. We are in a Mercury retrograde, y'all. So keep us posted in the comment section if it is working or not. Hopefully it is on my end. Everything seems very fine. Meanwhile, at Ascension Organites, we have this amazing promo, the Align Beginning Sale. Carla, please tell us all about it, por favor.
Yeah, so all the pyramids in the beginners series are 25% off, and the coupon code is begin25. These are the ones that are the smaller options that are made for people that are just starting out, that maybe don't want to invest in like a big 4 crystal pyramid, or people that are just looking to work with more simple intentions. So all the pyramids in that collection are on sale until March 7th.
With the promo code BEGIN25, just visit ascensionorganites.com or go in the description box. Everything is there. Thank you very much, John. So we are up and running on Rumble. So talking about Rumble, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic Rumble channel. And if you are watching on YouTube, well, hello there too, darlings. Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic 003, like, share, and subscribe. How is everybody doing? Hey, Tarot by Lupo, how are you doing, sunshine? Hope all is well. So now let me just put this all up here because I was checking our Rumble channel as well. And thank you guys for the feedback that we are up and running on Rumble. So today we are circling back into a topic that we did touch base a couple of weeks ago. Correct me if I'm wrong, Carla, with all of these shows that we're running. So we're going to touch base more on anxiety, negative feelings, the emotion of feeling overwhelmed. And instead of touching base on how to get rid of it, we're going to talk about how to listen to them, how to work with the signs of your body when we feel that buildup of anxiety coming into our surroundings. Is that clear? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great. Let's hop into it. But next week, we're going to touch base on another topic that I can't wait to touch base on, and it's shadow work, girl. That I went through my shadow work entering my 40s. So let's hop into it. Y'all, when I touch 40, the shadow work, darling. It was.
Yeah, well, I guess today we're going to talk about a part of shadow work because it's about like facing your negative feelings and what to do with them. So I also wanted to like, it's funny because every time like we prepare the topic for the show, and then I started listening to like I was listening to Astrid yesterday, then I was listening to Shannon this morning, and it's always related.
So you're doing the journey as well with Shannon on her membership, right?
Yeah, and also like I was listening to Astrid too talk about like the Mercury retrograde that's starting tonight, and the next, I think she said 3 or 4 weeks, and how it's very related to not avoiding our feelings or not escaping from our feelings, but actually sitting with them. And that made me think, because I remember hearing a lot of people say that they're uncomfortable sitting by themselves in like silence. And nobody, like, they really don't teach you that practice of just like sitting with yourself with no phone, no distraction, and just sit with it's a form of meditation. You could think of it like that, but I do that all the time now. Okay. And we can talk about, I mean, I say anxiety because anxiety is a very broad subject, but it's really any long-term negative feelings that we get. So it's not like you got upset at the grocery store and then two minutes later you're fine. No, I'm talking about like lingering negative feelings that are there, and what they mean, what are they trying to tell you. So it's very related to what Shannon is doing with her healing work, to what even Alexandra is doing with the Akashic Records, because they are ways of for us to face these fears and to start working on them. So let's see. In my case, it's a very personal topic because I've struggled with anxiety my entire life since I can remember. I've been a very anxious kid. And I always thought I never really had a name for it. I always thought that I was just a shy, scaredy cat. I was always like very introverted, very shy, very quiet. It wasn't until later in life that I discovered what it really was and what name it has. It was anxiety. So
sorry for cutting you off, but we're in the beginning of the topic. When you feel anxiety, where do you feel it in your body first?
Well, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but because usually feelings are connected to the body, to the physical body, the emotional body. For me, it's always, at least my anxiety manifested in my stomach. So I would start getting that feeling when you're on a roller coaster, the up and down emptiness, like that. And then I would just start sweating, and it would go from there and escalate. So I guess the main thing today is to talk about, so one of the things that I learned when I was working on my anxiety is the fact that these are not things to get rid of. So the idea is not to get rid of them, because I was reminding myself when I started my spiritual journey, it became with the power of positivity and the power of words and my thoughts. So I wanted to be positive all the time. And whenever I would see somebody complaining or somebody saying something negative, I would catch myself and say to them, no, don't say that. You're being negative right now. And I remember when things would happen or when I would get anxious, people around me would be like, wait, but you're not allowed to feel upset. You're this positive spiritual person. You have to practice what you preach. You're always positive. You're not allowed to feel upset. And then it got me thinking, I'm like, whoa, because I had this conflict in my head, because yes, we're supposed to be spiritual, enlightened, going through the ascension, but we're humans, and we all experience negativity because we live in a dualistic world where we're constantly faced with the light and the dark. So we're facing the light and the dark with our circumstances, our life, but also inside of us. And that's what we'll touch also next week when we talk about shadow work, is that darkness inside of us that we all have. And it doesn't mean that we're bad or we're evil. It's just these things that are not negative that we have to deal with. So going back to what I was saying, because I always ramble. Sorry. One of the things that I learned when I was working on my anxiety is that I could not get rid of it because it was part of me. So the idea is always to not feel the feeling. And I wanted to run away from it. And whenever I would start getting anxious, I would be like, no, I don't want to feel this. Let me just go do something else or distract myself. And what I learned was that it's part of me. I needed to understand what it was trying to tell me. It was something, so the way that I look at negative feelings these are communicators. They're trying to tell you something. And as the faster you listen to them, the faster you can integrate them into who you are instead of trying to get rid of them. And then obviously you get into the work of figuring out what triggers it. It could be a specific situation, a person. A lot of triggers come from childhood, even past lives, traumas, things like that. In my case, to be honest, I don't really know from childhood what triggered it. It probably is a past life thing, because I remember being anxious all the time. And there was nothing that was happening in my surrounding, like my parents or anybody doing anything specifically to trigger my anxiety. I was just an anxious kid, anxious person. So also, but the thing about childhood specifically, because a lot of these things we developed in childhood and follow us through adulthood, is that I was telling you also, it's like, it was so weird because I lived in a culture where mostly everybody around me was very negative all the time. Like, they were like complainers, I would say, complainers about everything, complaining about traffic, about the weather, about work, about anything. But then as a child, when I wanted to express a feeling and say that I was worried about something or that I was feeling something, I would immediately be told, no, you're not allowed to complain, shut up, basically. So it was this weird conflict in my head of saying, wait, everybody around me is complaining all the time, but when the children do it, we're told to just be quiet, sit in a corner, go to your room, type of thing. We don't want to deal with it. And it's nobody's fault. I think it.
You think that that energy created your anxiety as a kid? The negative energy of people complaining around you, and like, it's not their fault because that's their tools from back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you think that energy of them complaining about anything and everything, and you had to keep your silence, would build up as anxiety without you realizing it, especially
now that you say that, yeah, because anxiety for me, it stems from not being able to, so it's fear of the unknown, fear of the future.
Yes.
And I know it sounds weird, but it's like being able to control my surrounding or my circumstance. So because as a kid, I was told to like be quiet, and I didn't have a sense, like I didn't have an opinion. I couldn't express an opinion. So I had no control whatsoever over my surrounding. So as I was growing up, I started to want to control what was happening, and like, okay, the place that I am or what I'm going to do today. There's a set plan of what I'm going to do today. And I would plan out my day so that nothing could surprise me, or that nothing will come unannounced or, without me knowing and cause like the tower to fall type of thing. So yeah, absolutely. I think now that you mention it like that, probably because the complaining all the time is also like, it's disempowering, isn't it? Because you are complaining about circumstances that you can't control most of the time. Like if you're complaining about traffic or the weather, or, sometimes you can control them, but you just won't do what you have to do to change it, which is also a challenge. But yeah, it could be disempowering, and maybe without wanting to, I think I absorbed it in some way.
Wow.
But so I think I really didn't understand what it was until later on when I became a mom and I was an adult. And this is when I can tell you guys about like what happens when you avoid the feelings, because it was always there. And my reaction would be to just like, no, I don't want to deal with it. Like, I don't want to feel like, wait, let me go watch TV or.
Girl, I totally get it. And avoiding it, it's like avoiding a kid that's there always pulling on your sleeve. And the more you avoid that kid, the more they become like, they start losing it, screaming, throwing themselves on the ground. So like, it's the same concept when you avoid that energy of anxiety that's coming towards you.
Right. Absolutely, because they become louder when you avoid. And
exactly.
In my case, it got worse and worse and worse to the point where I was having full-on panic attacks where the anxiety will build up in my body over time. And then, oh my God, Coco, it was so often, like maybe once or twice a week, I would just like completely be on the floor with a full-on panic attack, couldn't breathe. It's just, and anybody that has experienced that, I completely relate to you, and I send you love because it's horrible and I don't wish it upon anybody. It's like a total state of fear.
Yeah.
And no matter what you do, it's like I would feel that the panic attack starting, and once I would feel it start, I could not do anything to stop it. So I just had to it's almost like I would leave my body and just observe until it was done. And
Wow.
after that, I would be completely like exhausted, drained. And it was this cycle of like me feeling the anxiety every day, then building it up until it became an attack. Then I would be so exhausted, and then it will start again. And it was like this circle that I was like just continuing to live until one day it was too much, and I decided to get help for it. And even like I knew that it was bad, because one day I even told my husband, I said, maybe I need like to find medication or something. And I was so scared of doing that. Like, thank God I didn't go into that route. And if you do, no judgment, you do what works for you, because it's not easy to deal with these things. So I found a hypnotherapist, and he reframed the whole thing for me. So he was the one that was teaching me that anxiety is like a child. So negative feelings are like children. They're parts of you. They belong to you. And when they come up to the surface, they're basically trying to call your attention like a little kid, like, hey, look over here, look over here. So the real work is to kind of figure out what it is that it's trying to say, and how you can then understand and acknowledge it, and then move on to heal, right? So it's basically using the power of consciousness, just like Shannon does. And the beautiful thing about hypnotherapy, and I know that Shannon does the same thing, is like he would ask me questions in the session, and he would just create these scenarios in my head, and he would just play out. For example, I'll give you guys an example. He would say, when's the first time that you started to get these panic attacks? And I said, well, when my son was a baby. And then he would say, okay, so go back in your mind to a moment where you thought or you felt like this attack was coming. And in my head, I don't know, I would think about me being in the living room taking care of the baby. And then he would like say, okay, so now you, as Carla in the future, you're standing next to her. What would you say? Right? And he took me through this whole dialogue with myself. And then after he was done, it was like, oh, I feel completely different now. Because he would just use the power of your consciousness. And I was having a conversation like I am with you. It's not like I was, because people think of hypnotherapy and they think that they hypnotize you. No, this is just, he was just talking, we were just talking like this. And so the one of the things that he also taught me was just to stop. Like whenever I would feel it coming, or have a practice where every so often I would sit with myself and sit in silence and kind of check in and say, okay, how am I feeling today? Why? I'm feeling X, Y, and Z. Why? Oh, because I don't know, this happened, or I got this email, or I got this phone call. And then I would just like sit through the conversation and sit through the situation and just like basically, how do I say, not analyze it, but just sit with the feeling. Like if I was having anxiety, instead of just avoiding, I would just sit with the feeling and I would say, okay, I'm anxious. Now what, like I'm anxious. Yes. Why am I anxious? And I would just go over these ideas in my head and these scenarios. And then after a while I would say, yeah, but none of those are real. Like they sound so crazy. So it would immediately calm down and I would not escalate to have a panic attack. So that was one of the techniques that he showed me how to, how to kind of like acknowledge that part, or have check-ins with myself every so often so that I could deal with the feelings as they were coming up. Because what happens when we don't listen to them and when we avoid, like we were saying, they're going to become louder. And this goes to also like what I was saying in the beginning, this toxic positivity and like spiritual bypassing, where is this idea or this fallacy that just because we are into a spiritual journey and we're trying to better ourselves and we're trying to learn and do all these things, and we're not allowed to feel any negativity or any negative feelings. And that's just not real, right? Because we're human and negative situations are going to happen, and you are absolutely 100% allowed to feel upset, to be frustrated, to be anxious, to do all of that. The important part is that what do you do with it? Do you stay? Do you linger? Do you wallow in those feelings? Or do you actually acknowledge them, understand why they're there, and you work on them? And once you understand, also it goes to like getting to know yourself in a very deep level, because if you understand what triggers you or what makes you feel a certain way, and then it's easier for you to avoid that or to try and change the situation for the better. So yeah.
I think that she always says, Shannon, because you're mentioning to sit with yourself and analyze what triggers you, and she brings the notion of that we have to stop being in the victim mode, the hero mode, or the, in French we say méchant, the evil mode. So when you realize in which category that we are in, then we work to get out of that that specific mode, to heal ourselves and to heal with our consciousness. When she said that to me, to me, when she said, she talked about it during her show, like for me, I'm like, she's talking to me, she's talking to everybody. But I was like, oh my gosh, that's so true. We do find ourselves like in the hero mode, that you always want to help everybody.
Right.
Or the victim mode, oh, me, everything happens to me. And then, or the person, the evil mode, like you're just simply being evil towards others. And that when you get to realize in which mode that you stand in, that it helps you go further in your analyze of, okay, what is triggering me? How am I living my life? And you don't do any spiritual bypassing, because like you say, you're sitting down with yourself and you're like, okay, wait a minute. So I'm in this victim mode, and why, where does it come from, etc. And I'm seeing here in the comment section, I have here, if you wrote it down, I hope you don't mind me sharing. And this comment here, I was brought up in a family of mentally ill mother and an absent father. 2 years to realize that that was not normal.
Right.
So he or she took the time to take a step back and like, wait a minute, what happened in my past was not normal. So this explains, okay, X, Y, and Z. And maybe that person was in a victim mode or hero mode because you didn't come from a normal family foundation, so you wanted to save everybody, so that's very interesting what you're saying.
Yeah, no, and it actually is, it has to do with we all have circumstances that we can control, and you can have the way that I see it is, you can, like you were saying, you can become a victim of it, or you could rise above it and work on it and actually deal with those feelings. It takes a level of self-awareness too, because it's not easy to say I'm wrong, I'm listening to, I'm feeling this way, because especially when you're feeling I don't know, I guess when you're feeling something negative about a situation that happened to you, or a situation that happened to you with someone in particular, it's very easy to just get involved in these feelings and, like I say, wallow in them, like simmer in them, and maybe take a step back and say, wait, I could be wrong too, that's a level of self-awareness that it's really difficult to kind of develop. But once you do, it's all related to each other, because once you do and you become self-aware of the things that you maybe did right or you maybe did wrong, and you understand your human condition, that we're all here to learn, we're all here to experience this duality and work with it, then that's going to give you the power to also deal with whatever is bothering you in the long term, and all these negative feelings that you may be having. I also, one thing that I see, at least in my surrounding, I come from a family of immigrants, for example, and they immigrated to different countries, and more than once, some of them. And I've noticed this pattern also of they would have these negative feelings about life, or maybe things didn't turn out the right way, or maybe they're going through a depression or something like that. And it was always, the cause in their mind was always external, and they will always project to the exterior. And it became something that would, like, they will start getting these thoughts. And I went through something similar. They will start getting these thoughts of, maybe it's the city that I'm living in the problem, maybe it's the people that are around me the problem, maybe it's my job that's the problem. And I would say, yeah, I mean, you can change your circumstances if that's going to make it better for you, but moving cities is not going to stop the problem if it's internal. And most of the time it's internal, because you're going to bring all those stuff with you. And I speak specifically about my family of immigrants, because they're always saying, well, maybe it was better when we lived in Italy, or we lived in Venezuela. And I always say, no, I mean, yes, circumstances could change, but it's also, your problems are internal. You're going to take them with you wherever you are. So this process starts inside. So if you're looking for true happiness, and you're looking for true, because then you can get into like, what is happiness? Happiness is not a feeling of excitement and joy that is permanent. Happiness is peace and calm.
My gosh.
Yeah, and being able to live with your decisions, and being at peace with yourself, and being able to have those quiet moments where you're just no distraction, you're sitting alone with your thoughts. And if those thoughts are not tormenting you, then you are at peace, you know?
But a lot of people do not see happiness like that. They see happiness like it was shown to us, like on TV shows, cartoons, that it's always joyful. You're like 100% on a high. No, it's exactly what you say. It's just feeling at peace.
Right. Yeah.
Ugh, I love what you said. That's what I always say. Like when I speak to my friends and they're like, oh, I don't have a great relationship, I don't have a lover, whatever. And I'm like, well, it's always toxic or traumatic, whatever, in their relationships with a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And I always tell them, the only thing I could wish for you is when you do find your partner, it's that you have that peace. And like they would say, peace. I'm like, that's so boring. I'm like, well, when you get what it is for real, you will cherish every single moment of that peace in your relationship, because everything is so stressful in the outside world that when you come back home, whatever home is for you, even if you're single or married or in a relationship, when you have that peace, honey, that equals your happiness 100,000%.
Yeah. And I remember something that I told you, like in the video that in the show that we made about conflicts with other people. And it's when you do all this type of work and you find the happiness or that peace inside yourself, because you have faced your demons, you have faced all your negative feelings. Now, you didn't get rid of them. You understood them. They are part of you. They're still there, because it's like, I can't get rid of my anxiety. My anxiety is there. But now I have the tools to be able to deal with it. You find this peace and this empowerment in yourself, in your life, in your surrounding. So then you're going to become a little bit more protective of it, and you're going to be able to discern a little better if something is coming to disrupt that peace. You're just not going to tolerate it, because you worked hard at it. So yeah, it's extremely important. And that's why these conversations of saying it's okay to feel all these things, the goal is not to not feel them. The goal is to acknowledge them and understand them, and know that they are parts of you that are just trying to communicate something. In my case, for example, my anxiety was trying to communicate, oh, you're not in control of anything. So I had to make peace with the fact that sometimes I am not going to be in control, and that's okay. I can't control every single aspect of my life because that's not real, you know? And sometimes I have to let go and kind of learn to navigate the flow of things instead of trying to want to know every single thing that I'm going to do and want to know every single aspect. So it always goes back to a root of something that is trying to tell you. So then we can also move this way and say, if you don't do that work and if you don't listen and you don't acknowledge, they're going to manifest in different ways. So most of the time, and any good healer, even Shannon has talked about this a lot, is these emotions manifest in the body. So they're going to manifest as pain, as illness, as symptoms, as maybe irrational fears or irrational feelings. Like, for example, you'll just cry out of nowhere for no reason. But most importantly, in the body, in the physical body, it's going to manifest. And I remember reading the book. I think that the first person that talked about this also was Louise Hay, and she had a book where every single ailment and every single illness and every single pain that you could have, she connected it to an emotion. So, for example, she would say, and I also heard Shannon say this last week, like the knees are a feeling of not being flexible and not wanting to move with changes in your life. So if you struggle with your knees or your joints, that's usually, you have to look at those feelings that you may have of not wanting to be flexible or wanting to go with the flow. Anxiety in my case was manifested in my stomach. So I was having like problems with my metabolism and everything that was digestive. I also know, for example, anger can also like suppressed anger can manifest in the stomach as well. You have things like people that have experienced heartbreak will have heart issues. And I could go on and on and on. I think she also said, which is funny that she mentioned this because she was talking about the lower back. She was doing the root chakra healing. And she was talking about the lower back, and pain in the lower back could be a feeling of not being supported or not feeling like you are in safety. And I was thinking back on like those moments in my life where my life was a little bit like unstable. And I remember having this lower back pain all the time that I couldn't like get up in the morning with the lower back pain, like things like that. So it's so interesting to see like how it's like all like this is also the thing that I feel like allopathic medicine is missing, is the other side of the emotional side of these ailments and these symptoms. Because it's like, think of it like this: if you're just working on your back pain and you're not understanding what emotion was stuck there, it's almost like you're going to the doctor and saying, I have a headache, and they just give you ibuprofen. But you don't really realize why you're getting those headaches in the first place. There could be a more serious issue there that they're not looking at. So it's very, very important to look at that. And so I guess I would say, okay, so we know how we understand now, like negative feelings are communicators. They're part of us. This is not something that we can get rid of. What do we do about it? How do you work with them? How do you, and my answer is there's tons of ways to do it. And you get to pick the one that resonates to you the most. So for me, it was finding a hypnotherapist. Modalities like the healing that Shannon is doing, even doing an Akashic record reading, because you can look at your past and why those feelings are there. Sorry, thank you, John. I got distracted with John's comment.
Always there. So you're saying the Akashic records could help you understand where those feelings are coming from, because it helps you understand your past life. Reiki healing as well.
Right.
You said hypnotherapy.
Hypnotherapy, yeah.
Chinese medicine as well, because they
Chinese.
really work with your physical body that is connected directly with a specific emotion. So you talking about the back pain. What was the lower back pain signification again?
I think she said I'll ask her to make sure that we have it right, but I think she said it was not feeling supported in your life. Like
Wow.
something was not feeling safe, or
Mhm.
you were not feeling supported. It makes sense because it's right at the root. So this is where we're supported when we sit, Um, yeah, I would say also you can look into shadow work, which we'll talk about next week. Meditation, even grounding. So one technique that he taught me, that my hypnotherapist taught me, that I think has been the number one thing that I have like applied and practiced, that has taken my anxiety from a level 10 to a level 1.5. And yeah, I have not gotten panic attacks anymore since I started working with him. And this was like a couple of years ago. And what he did was he said, apart from having these check-ins, which I remember when he taught me, I would do that every day. And he said to me, don't do that every day. Like, you don't have to do a check-in every day. Because I was like overzealous. Like I wanted to do more than I should. Because I just wanted to like work on it quickly. He's like, you don't need to do that every day. You do it whenever you feel like something's happening, something's coming to the surface. But another technique that he taught me was when the anxiety came. So the check-ins were before, just to kind of make sure that everything was okay. Let me check in with myself. What am I feeling? But if the anxiety was coming, if that negative feeling was coming, he told me to first remove myself from whatever the situation within reason, right? Like if I was with my kid or something like that, I couldn't do it. But remove myself, go sit in a place that was quiet, and just have 2 moments with myself and say, okay, um, I'm feeling anxious right now. So you kind of like acknowledge that, and then you say, thank you for the feeling. Thank you for being here. Thanking you for whatever it is you're trying to tell me. I acknowledge you. I see that you're there. And then he would say, just scan the body and see where it is that you're feeling it. So for me, it would be always my stomach. So he would say, put your hands on your stomach and kind of either send it light, or just keep saying thank you to the feeling that you're here. I acknowledge you. What is it that you're trying to say? So then I would think about, okay, what was I doing that triggered it? Maybe, I don't know, something happened. So I would say, okay, I see it. It happened. It's okay. I'm safe. Everything's okay. And immediately after having that little exercise, everything will be like woof, down and calm.
Please. Wow.
So it literally takes, obviously I'm describing it, but literally it takes 2 minutes to do, and it changed my entire like perspective, and it reframed everything about my anxiety and the negative feelings that I was having. So that's like the number one technique that I could give you guys to do, that is really easy and you don't really have to think about it too much. You'll have it in your like toolbox. But obviously if you suffer from like chronic anxiety, long-term things, then you know it's okay to also need help, because I needed help. I couldn't do this on my own. I think, it's hard to, when you're in that situation, it's hard for you to zoom out and look at, because I don't know if this happens to you, Coco, but I'll have a conversation with my friends or like family members, and they're telling me something that is going on in their life. And to me, the answer is so clear. And I will give them an advice and I will say, oh, you should do this or you should do that. But when it happens to me, it's like blindfold. And I cannot see it. Sometimes it's like that happens to me so much.
Oh
I have a
man.
hard time, because obviously when it comes to your own personal things, you're a little biased and your feelings are involved and your ego is involved. So sometimes we need help to get out of the situation. I could not
There's
have.
nothing wrong to go get some tools, get some help, professional help, whatever like works for you.
Exactly.
go for it. There's no like, especially now in this time of age with internet, well then it's easy access. When we
Mhm.
think about our like us back in the days, we didn't have computers, so good luck finding a hypnotherapist, somebody to read your akashic records. That was like from neighbor to neighbor that they would give you that contact person. But now it's a whole other game, and it's much more easier to get that help. Well, that's how I see it. I don't like, I know that it's not the same thing around the world, but you get what I'm saying, you know?
Yeah, no, we have a lot more resources now than we used to before. So
Mhm.
it's easier now to look for help if you need it. And speaking about tools, also we know crystals can help with like emotions that you're feeling. They're support. They're not going to do the work for you, but you can use them as support, just like we use them for protection or we use them to clear negativity. You can also use them to help you with these feelings that you may have. So I wanted to, you know, apart from the ones that I always mention, which are great, and also this is more about your intuition, so whatever it is that you want to work on. But I started working with this crystal, lepidolite, I think about a year ago, 2 years ago, and I love that it's like this hue of purple. Um, and it's very soft and it's very soothing, and it's about balancing your emotions. So it's almost like a if you think of the scale and like negative and positive emotions are all over the place, lepidolite is going to help you kind of like go back to your center and stabilize. So anytime I want to I'm want to do that work of like what I just said, that technique of coming into myself, I'll grab my lepidolite and I'll just hold it while I'm doing it, and I
Mhm.
feel like it helps.
Mhm.
Then I don't have like the big crystals. I have it in chip form back here. Another one that is really good is Amazonite. Sorry for the noise, you guys. It's about, so Amazonite helps with stress and fear, and
Can you
it's
show it? You try to grab a little piece to see the colors if you're able to.
it's like it's different colors, so it ranges from like a very light cream color and yellow to a very like this teal turquoise color, which is beautiful. um
These crystals that Carla is suggesting for to help you as a tool, you could find them as well in the pyramids. So you
yeah.
put it in the search bar in the essential organites and just simply get the pyramid, and that could help you as a tool as well.
Yeah, talking about Amazonite, and you have it there on the website. The forgiveness pyramid has Amazonite, so it's going to help you like express honestly and calmly what you're going through, whether it be to yourself or to others. So it's a very also they're all grounding, but it's very much related to stress and to
Mhm.
fear and to anxiety. Then another one of my favorite ones, which is very Pisces too, is aquamarine. So aquamarine is, I feel like it's like water in crystal form.
Well, there you go, Pisces in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So aquamarine is very, very peaceful. It allows you to process your emotions. It's water, it's emotion, right? So it's very connected to the water element, and it's going to help that so that you don't get overwhelmed while you're doing this work. And yeah, it's, you know, that think that's the birthstone for Pisces. That's why
So you're
I
so
also like working with it. Yeah. And finally, also one of my favorites that I started working with it because I'm a Taurus rising. I struggle with like Tauruses. We struggle with like self love and having love for ourselves. So Rhodonite or Rhodonite, it's connected to the heart as well. So anybody that has any emotions that have to do with heartbreak, love, feelings of compassion, and what better to like connect to your self love when you're working with these things, to have like patience for yourself and to give yourself grace while you're going through this process, because it's not easy. Like I was saying, it's not easy
Carla,
to
word. Give yourself grace.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do this. It's not easy to, it takes a big level of humility to kind of say, okay, I'm going through this. I'm struggling with this feeling. I want to work with it. Or to say that you have been wrong or that you may be looking at things the wrong way. So Rhodonite is like the stone that I would recommend if you struggle with like self-love and having compassion for yourself. So yeah.
Wow, guys. Look at John. Okay, John. That's amazing. I love that topic. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add for this end of our show?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Like I just wanted to kind of from a personal experience tell you guys what I've learned. Obviously, it's not, whatever works for you, but it helped me reframe. So I thought I would share the information that helped me to say your negative feelings are not something that they're not something that is like bad and you have to get rid of them. And it's not, they're there for a reason. They have a purpose. This is what we're here to learn, to work on. And the best way that you can help to heal them is to acknowledge them, look at them straight in the eye and say, what are you trying to say? And you'll see that as soon as you do that, the feeling kind of like calms down. Like you were saying, it's like a child. It's like pay attention to me. And as soon as you pay attention,
look at me. Yeah, exactly. It's the same concept. So for those who don't have a kid, you know exactly what we're going through because you're going through it as well.
Yes.
Without the kid, but the anxiety is there pulling on your shirt. Look at me now. Look at me now. And if you don't, they will come back with a vengeance. That's for sure. If you don't give attention to your kid, good luck to go check their bedroom. Good luck.
Oh my God, that's right. That's right.
That's what happens with me.
Yeah.
If I don't look at my kid, I could only imagine the shit show. I'm going to say straight up what's happening in the bedroom. That's all I can say. The mess. And
no, I can't get away with it. If I don't pay attention to my kid, he'll escalate, and he'll put himself in my face like, Mom. So I can't run away from it.
We have to go through this, y'all. Why do we have to go through this? But as talking about tools, and we were speaking about a lot about Shannon. For those who don't know, I'll put it up here. She has her membership at the Beyond Mystic Academy. So from Monday to Thursday morning, she logs in live with you. She does all of the consciousness work, meditation, reflection. You got homeworks to do, honey. Yes, you do. Because when I do this after, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. And I start journaling on everything she's talking about. So I'm telling you guys, I'm following it. Janine is doing it too. Carla, we are loving the work that Shannon is doing. What a timing for Alexandra and Shannon that like enter the Beyond Mystic team.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Divine timing, literally. So yes, join Shannon, or you could watch her during her Beyond Healing shows. That is every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And we have Max Uncensored Views tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And that will be only live on X and on Rumble. Yeah, X and Rumble. I don't want to say YouTube. That show is only on X and Rumble. And if you want to find the amazing work of our dear friend Carla, you could find her at Ascension Organize. And she has this amazing promo right now. And you could save 25% on all the beginners collection on the pyramids. So you just hop into Ascension Organize and punch in the code BEGIN25 to save 25% off. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to, if you wish, like, share, and subscribe to the Rumble channel and to our YouTube channel. It means the world to us. And thank you, everybody that is here in the chat. You guys are amazing. And next week, we're going into it. Shadow. Darling, you better bring your glass of wine for that. That's all I got to say. Like, yes, we're all like good and eating organic, but sometimes you need a glass of Chardonnay, okay? Or you need your gin and soda or kombucha, whatever floats your boat. Just bring it and we will chat and bring all of your questions in the live chat as well. And we will have this amazing time all together. Carla, thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.